So I go along the coast for about a mile or so north, and then I'll turn left and start heading west 330 miles to Aberystwyth, and I'll find out if I'm going to get a headwind or not. Certainly quite breezy heading northwards. So it's 9:25 and I'm just leaving the coast. I've just ridden a couple of miles northwards into quite a breezy headwind actually, and now I'm turning westwards. Next stop Aberystwyth, well not quite. So this morning already I've done over 56 miles, so that's a quarter of today's mileage already. I try not to think of the overall distances until I get much closer to home, because the figures just overwhelm you otherwise. I treat each day as a separate ride, and that way I can sort of manage it really. Last night was a luxury at the Travelodge, having all that time, in fact probably a little bit too much time. So tonight all I really want is about 90 minutes sleep, chance to have a shower, if ideally wash some clothes and get them dried overnight, and some coffees, just my own little square box just for a few hours. It makes so much difference when you wheel your bike through and shut that door and just know you've got your own little space for several hours. It's just such an amazing feeling. So leaving Great Yarmouth, there was a dual carriageway for several miles. That wasn't particularly brilliant. Now I'm on a really nice network of lanes. So it's 11:30 now and I've stopped for an early lunch. This morning when I had my energy low, had plenty of food on me. I had the fig rolls and the rice cakes. I just wasn't getting any energy from carbohydrates. I reached that stage where I'm just wanting savoury food, protein especially, so I've been craving a meat sandwich with some salad, so that's what I'm going to have. Fizzy drink, some ice cream, and again making sure I keep my water topped up today. 2 p.m, another food stop. I'm not struggling, but I think it's fair to sort of say I'm sort of feel lacking in energy today. I think yesterday was just too easy. So my Garmin at the moment is estimating I'll get the Premier in at 11 p.m. I think it's more realistic to sort of bank on midnight or even a bit later. So around 6-7 p.m, wherever I'm passing at the time, I'll try and find a chip shop and just get some sausages and some peas. I've just got this craving for sausages and mushy peas. When I get the Premier in, it will be check-in, shower, straight to bed. So it's just gone 1 a.m. and I've just arrived at the Premier Inn, so my priority now is to go in, check in, have a shower, 90 minutes sleep, coffee, and then I'll be setting off at 4 a.m. Today's been really hard actually, so I'll give you an update in the morning. Well, hello, good morning. It's now 3:15 a.m. on Wednesday, and yesterday was a very, very long day. I ended up being, in the end I was up 23 hours, and by the time I got here last night I was really tired. Then mid-afternoon I really noticed the leaves in the trees blowing, and the wind was picking up quite substantially, and then I hit a long stretch of fens and it was just like riding into a brick wall. It was really hard. So it was just a case of plodding on really. It was really hard work. I got down on the dropped handlebars just to try and make it a bit easier, but it was just a slog. Had to fight for every mile. So round about 4 p.m. in the afternoon I got really tired. I started getting the dozy, the sleep deprivation starting to kick in. I just leant up against the gate and had about a 10-minute power nap, and it really did the trick. And then I pressed on. So I had a quick shower. I've just had 90 minutes sleep. I'm just having coffee. I'm going to try and be on the road for 4 a.m. because it's 175 miles from here to Aberystwyth, and today it starts getting hilly. No, but there's no accommodation, so I can stop whenever I want. But psychologically it would be really good to get to the coast before I turn and start heading the final leg back down to Bath. So it's coming up to 4 AM on Wednesday, and I've just left the Premier Inn. There's my bike there, ready to roll. Last night cost £47, so you may sort of say, was that worth it for in effect a shower, 90 minutes sleep and a cup of coffee and just being able to recharge all my devices? And the answer's got to be yes. Psychologically, mentally, it just kept me going yesterday, the thought of having this. I mean, the route coming in was all minor roads, and you're in the middle of nowhere. It felt like on really, some of the roads were quite gravelly, and the villages were very small. I'd occasionally cross A roads, but even they weren't that busy. And you just wonder, where can a Premier Inn be in the middle of nowhere? And with 2 miles to go, you suddenly start sort of seeing the A5 in the distance. So this is a roundabout, a service area, just off the A5. So there's a BP garage over there. There's a 24-hour McDonald's there. I did consider popping in there for coffee and a bacon bap. I honestly don't think I'd be able to get it down this time in the morning. I may regret that in about an hour's time, but I've made a decision, I'm going to stick to it. So I'm going to be setting off now. Next stop, hopefully, Aberystwyth. As I leave the Premier Inn, that's my view. Daybreak, you can hear birds song in all the trees. Hear a little roar of traffic just behind me, but you'd have no idea you were a couple of hundred yards from a real major trunk road. So this road's signposted Melton Mowbray. I'm not sure how long I'm on this for, but I'm just retracing about a mile or so the route in last night, and then I'll be heading around the outskirts of Birmingham, Shrewsbury, into Wales. And I got to the Premier Inn last night at gone 1 o'clock. By the time I got to bed it was 1:30, so 23.5 hour day, with the 1 power nap about 15 minutes in. This morning I feel remarkably good actually. A bit of chaffing around the crutch area. I put plenty of cream on that this morning, and also my back was aching a bit this morning when I woke up. I think that's because I was down on the drops yesterday, just trying to sort of ride the bike into that relentless headwind on the fens. So I've put quite a bit of Voltron in my back. At the moment it feels okay. I'll keep my eye on that. But yeah, this morning, considering I've had 90 minutes sleep, I actually feel better than I did this time yesterday. Well, what a brilliant find is 6:10. There's a newsagent open already, and they got a breakfast bar in there. Just got myself a bacon sandwich and a coffee and a roll for later on. It's just at the mouth of this little industrial estate. I bet they do a roaring trade there. There's a few vans already pulled in since I've just been sat here. So the GPX file that I'm navigating on has now got days 3 and 4 on it. There seemed no point in making separate files because I just don't know where I'm going to be staying tonight. So it's about 320 something miles to go. So on my videos I talk about the high points and the highlights a lot. Do I get low points? Yeah, I'm only human, I go through low patches, and I guess yesterday the riding into that headwind was so brutal. Around about 8:30 last night, a thought flashed through my mind, thinking this time last night I was just getting to set for a Travelodge, and I looked at my Garmin and I still had 49 miles to go. And then almost like a kick in the teeth, about 9:30, just as the sun was setting, I passed the Premier Inn. I didn't even know it was there, to be honest. I hadn't been looking for that one. But there was all people outside, you know, sort of sat around drinking beer and just looking like they're having a really good time. And just have to snap yourself out of that sometimes. The highs don't last forever, that's why I really do try and live for the moment and savour them. And conversely, the lows don't last forever, you will ride yourself through them. And I suppose one of the methods I use, self-talk really, so what do I mean by that? If I am having negative thoughts, I'm very aware that that's all they are, negative thoughts, and I snap myself out of them. So how do I do that? Well, say you were doing a big sporting event, like a marathon, or you're in the cup final, and all your friends, family, colleagues had come out to watch. You would expect them to cheer you on. Just say they didn't. They started shouting out stuff like, "You look like you're really tired. Are you sure you want to continue?" It'd just be so much easier to pack it in now. It'll all be over. The discomfort would just go like that. You can hop in a car and go home. I mean, I can't even begin to imagine how bad that would feel. So, if I wouldn't want to hear other people sort of saying that to me, why on earth would I choose to say it to myself? Well, it's about 9 o'clock now, still quite early, but because I've been on the road since 4, I'm starting to feel a little bit tired, and the sun's out, that always makes me feel a bit sleepy, so I'm going to have a 15-minute power nap. There's a raft of research out there showing the benefits of power napping. You know, just because NASA and the Air Traffic Controllers Association say it's effective, you know, just try. What I've done is experiment and find what works for me, but one of the tips I did read was have a cup of coffee, some caffeine, just before napping. It won't stop you dropping off, but it'll kick in soon after you wake up and magnify the effect. So, haven't got coffee, I've got a can of Coke. So, I've chosen somewhere in the sun, so I'm not going to wake up chilled. And also, sort of just back from the road, just so nobody drives by and thinks I've come off my bike or had a heart attack or something. Wakey wakey, that's 15 minutes, it just feels so good for that, I really do, so I'm going to press on now. So an update, it's now 9 PM on Wednesday, and today's been quite hard. I'm at Newtown in Wales. To give you an idea of how hard it's been, I've done 133 miles at the moment, and that's taken me since 4 o'clock this morning. The wind was brutally hard again. It was compounded by rough road surfaces and hot weather. It was just really hard work. I passed through the outskirts of Shrewsbury about 5 PM, did my normal chip shop stop, got some hot food there, because I just know I'm going to have to ride through a lot of the night. As I left Shrewsbury, I started getting the dozies again, and so I was on this road heading towards Montgomery, and I saw a bus shelter, and I thought I'll just hop in there and have another nap. And 15 minutes later, it did the trick, it's right. Just as I was about to start, I realised there was a turning by the bus shelter, and that's where I had to go, and that was a climb over into Wales. And the climb itself took about an hour to get over. The ascent and the descent was quite rough. I'm just trying to claw some of the time back I lost earlier on. The plan is to try and get to Aberystwyth before 1-2 o'clock, and then at least start on my way back to Bath, just to know I'm on the return leg. I'm just stopped at this garage, pick up some supplies for an all-night ride, and I'm just having a Costa coffee to help me try and stay awake. I'm having a Costa coffee to try and help me stay awake. So I'm struggling to get my words out at the moment. I just really wanted to record this scene so I can look back at this in the winter maybe and remember it. It's 10:30 at night, it's Midsummer's Day tomorrow, almost the longest night of the year. So it's gone 11 PM, so I've got less than 24 hours to go. And I don't know how well this comes out on film, but the sky's still blue looking back over at the west. The reason I'm breathing heavy is it's quite a steep climb out of Llangwrig over towards Aberystwyth. Just having a quick breather, admiring the view. Well, it's 3 AM at Abergavenny bus station. You can see the clock out there, it's displaying 3 AM. It's a mega change of plan. When I first left Newtown, the going was quite good, and then there's a brutal climb out of, I've just forgotten the name of the place now, and then he got back on an A road towards Aberystwyth, and it went up on the high ground, and the wind was just horrendous. You may see the trees blowing there. And not only was I very tired, the progress was just so slow because of the headwind, and also it was quite cold. Had to put every single layer, had to put every single item of clothing on just to stay warm. I made a decision I would not sleep for an hour and a half as planned. So I will finish the ride whatever happens, and it's 3 AM now and I've got till 11 PM tonight, but I've still got about 150, 160 miles to do, and going by yesterday's progress, it was so slow, it's unbelievable. So I will finish the road whatever happens. There is a chance I'm going to run out of time. I'm leaving Aberystwyth now, and I think it's Midsummer's Day. The wind is just unbelievable. There's branches and twigs sort of breaking off, blowing everywhere. As I was coming down a long descent into town, they were just hitting me in the face. Just unbelievable. So it's now 9:25, and I'm about 5 or 6 miles from home, so I'm going to get home within the time announced, but only just. I've had to pull all the stops out today. I'm just so tired at the moment. I'll wrap the video up tomorrow, I'm so tired at the moment. All I want to do is just get home, check. I'm so tired at the moment. All I want to do is just get home, stitch all the files together to make sure they're definitely at least 1200 kilometres. I've done the arithmetic with the Garmin readings and it seems okay, but I always check within. I always check if I'm with. I always check if in doubt. I can always just ride around the block a few times, then just get in a shower, slip into something a bit more comfortable, like a coma. I've really enjoyed it, but today's been really hard and quite stressful, to be honest. So I'll see you when I wake up.